Question types, we've already discussed that. But do look at the candidate information booklets. The web pages that Family Medicine has examples of tests. Look at them. Okay. Again, that's basically what you're going to see on your tests. Okay, and there's a modification to that, which is a patient management question, which is basically a story and questions about that clinical situation. This is also common sense. Talk to people who've recently taken the tests. Ask them what they would tell you about it, what it was like, what the format and technical aspects about it were. The other thing is, and again, you can find this on the Family Medicine Board site, your test is well written. It goes through a very sophisticated process in terms of being put together. Lots of committees, lots of review, all of that. It's a very well-made exam, and consider that when you're taking it. This is historical, but I left it in my slides because I'm going to show you something later. The content of the exam sometimes changes. This was the content, I think, about 10 years ago. I have what I call an exam blueprint, which is included in your handouts. Will show you what they'll listen today as the basic content. And again, this is a little bit historical. I have updated data in the exam blueprint PDF that was provided in addition to my slides. But the last part is still true. Most of the test questions are new ones. They're 40% used items. Those have already been field tested and used over and over again. Those are probably the best ones. Okay, again, somewhat historical. For updated data, you can look at the exam blueprint, the most recent one I can find. The test, again, the updated data here refer to the, I think it's the 2010 blueprint that I have in the handout, which is the most recent one I can find. Okay, there's some websites that also I refer you to. My apology, that says family practice, not family medicine. I pulled it out in several places. Although back when some of these websites were set up, that was what it was called. If you want to look at these, they have examples of tips that are tested in terms of how to do well in exam and how to prepare for it. Lots of references there. American Board of Family Medicine has lots of things you can use. Review sources, review courses. Obviously ours is the best, but there's a lot of others listed up there. Online tests to help you in those things. How many people in here are PAs, physician assistants? There's a similar site that gives the information for the physician assistant exam that's provided. And by the way, not the tests themselves, but the computerized version of family medicine, your family medicine exam, really was developed using a lot of the principles that the PA Academy had already put together in terms of how it's administrated and things. Okay, boy, is that easy for me to put up. But it's essential. As much as possible, try to feel relaxed when you take the exam by being positive, and that's the best way. The other thing is, and I'm not a dietitian, but for long-term preparation in terms of reducing test anxiety, just simply feeling positive is a diet. And a diet does have a lot to do in terms of memory, retention, all that. Here's some suggestions of what can help. Okay, this is something called super learning methods. really what it's about is ways to feel relaxed when you're studying. Visualization, basically be positive, not negative. Think about the last positive experience you had with the test, not the last negative one. Be positive about you as a student, you as a test taker. You can use some breathing techniques. This says Baroque lighter music. Obviously you can't listen to music when you take the test, but that's one way just prior to the test, be a little more relaxed when you take it. And the last one is probably the most important thing on that slide. Review for the test before you take it. The other thing is, sometimes it's helpful to determine what type of learning style you have and what principles of preparation is important for that learning style. Most of us either use imagination or association. We all use both of those, but most of us use one a little more than the other. This is sometimes referred to as left brain or right brain. Left brain likes lots of order, sequence numbers. Right brain doesn't like the order as much. They're more concentrated on things like color, rhythm, dimensions, daydreaming, but in the right way. A little more open, a little less formalized version of study. Now, am I a left brain or right brain? This is not real sophisticated, but it'll help you determine it. Look at the chart. Try to say the color, not the word, which is easier for you to do. If it's easier for me to say the word, and most of us, I think it probably is, then you're one type of learning style. If you can go through real fast and simply say the color, not the word, we're a different type of learning style. Right brain has no problem saying the color. That's imagination. Left brain has no problem reading the word. That's association. Okay, there's a website that has lots and lots of those tests that I could spend hours on. If you want to go to it, lots of good study techniques, things like that. This is 13 years old now, but it's still online. There's a Time magazine article written in 2000 that talks about simple ways of improving your memory. Not tricks, really, and a lot of it refers to relaxation. Okay, my summary. Review as much as possible the material you know you're going to be tested on. Read the directions, both in the standard information booklet and any other place where directions are important. Understand the scoring procedure. Read a little bit about how this exam is put together. Look for verbal clues. Think about ranking and ordering and how you might use that if you have to guess. Think about what this exam is put together to do. Test basic principles of medicine. Look for things that might be mechanical. Watch your time. Play the odds and know the question types. And more than just knowing the question types, practice taking tests. Take as many tests as possible. Read about how this exam was designed. All of that helps you reduce test anxiety. Have a positive attitude. Prepare on a long-term basis, not a short-term one. Budget your time when you're preparing. If you do, there used to be just a few testing centers, and this was more important here. If you have to go to a location to take the test, make sure you arrange travel, make sure you know where the testing site is, relax, enjoy the night before. I didn't say you go out and drink a lot, but relax the night before. Don't cram the night before. It doesn't help. Okay, those things. After today, you've got a week to devote here, but do it when you get home. Set up a schedule of how you're going to study. Schedule your study times. If you don't have resources, find them. There's a lot of references in my handouts. Use the S4R over Q technique. That's basically what this looks at. Test, test, test. Look at what you missed and go back and study that. And again, there are plenty of resources online to do that. If you can, try to take practice tests every day. There's lots of ways to do it. Look at your strengths, look at your weaknesses. Okay. After today, think about what you can maybe use out of some of the things I've given you, some of the techniques I've given you, and start to prepare right now. And look at what are my strengths, what are my needs, how can I improve upon those.